All right, so now we have done 2A and we're working to 2B. And again, we're not writing any of our response just yet, but you just need to keep the end in mind when you're developing your app so that you have an easier time at actually answering the responses for 2B. So let's take a look at what that means. So first of all, there are two parts to 2B, two rows that get points. So 1 point for row 2 and 1 point for row 3 are all part of response 2B. I would like that you have two separate paragraphs, and they don't have to be very long paragraphs, but when you split them up and identify them based on what the criteria is, then chances are you're going to get a better score because it's just easier for the grader to grade. So you are going to describe or outline the steps that you took in incremental and iterative development process to create the entire program. I'll discuss that in a bit. And then you're going to specifically identify at least two program developments, whether they were difficult things or opportunities that you uncovered. And you're going to describe how the difficulties were overcome and how you incorporated the opportunities into your program. So let's break this down a little bit. Remember, it's only a point. Yes, if they can see everything that they need to see, or no, a 0. So you want to get a 1 for a yes. So describe and outlines the steps used in the incremental and iterative development process to create the entire program. You are not going to get points if they see or don't see any of these bullet points. Okay, so let's kind of explain the iterative and the cyclical nature of this. Okay, so you came up with your 2A, you came up with a problem, and that was part of your past assignment. Now you're going to plan and design the how you're going to be doing this. So the solutions in your investigation are going to be for solving a problem. How you planned your project, the flow chart, the storyboard, that kind of thing. And that was from the previous assignment. How you design your code, what is your thought process and how you coded, where is your library of functions in your program. So everything that you are doing, if you have to resort to something that you've already coded, where is that library going to be posted? How you evaluated or tested your program, where you may have needed to go back to design and recode the parts. This is that iterative thing. So here you design it, you create it, you test it. Oh, it didn't work. Wait a minute, let me go back to design. And oh, I forgot to put in a semicolon here, or I didn't close this bracket. We're going to recreate that. We're going to evaluate it. Okay, that part worked, but now something else doesn't work. And you may go back to the design and go, I didn't even need that line. Let me take that out. So it's this iterative process where you keep going in a cycle. Okay, so when you describe the things for evaluate and test, this is the part where you are showing looping, that iterative process. And this goes back to what I was just saying before. You had to go back to the code, you had to update the syntax, update a line of code, you realized you missed a step and you retested and now it works. Okay, make sure you are commenting in your code when you make changes or updates or have reflective moments. This is going to help you when you do your response write-up. So if you're actually going, hey, I messed up right here, I forgot to do this part and I didn't need that line of code, put that in your comments so that you can remember it 3 or 4 days or weeks from now. Incremental and iterative. You should show your developmental process using the words plan design, create, and evaluate. That's what the readers are going to be looking for, those kind of words: plan, design, create, and evaluate. You also should show your process of backtracking and updating your code to make it work better or flow more naturally. What you should not put down is just your stream of consciousness. Monday I did this. Tuesday I worked on my background. Wednesday I did a couple more lines of code. That doesn't tell the reader anything. If you stick with the plan, design, create, evaluate, and explain what's going on there, you should get this point no problem. Now, row 3. Are you going to get this point? Yes or no? Here, you've got to identify 2 specific points where you had to make a decision. And the decisions are going to be based on, was it a problem or was it something that I could improve on my code to make it even better? So you must show 2 specific points in your development where you're showing the difficulties or opportunities. This can be 2 difficulties and you have to show how you resolve them. Or it could be 2 opportunities and how you incorporated them in your program. Or you can have 1 difficulty and 1 opportunity with how you resolved it or how you incorporated it. You need to specifically describe how you incorporated these items into your code and the reasoning why. Alright, so here's what you need to avoid. Avoid by all costs. Avoid making statements that are not supported by reason or explanation. Here's what you don't want to do. I couldn't get my code to work. I found something on YouTube. I cited, that I'm using this thing on YouTube, and oh, now it works. Well, that doesn't tell the reader anything that was indicated on how you solved that problem, not just that you solved the problem. So you need to be able to explain how things were fixed. Here's an example from another teacher that is really a bigwig in the AP world. And if you noticed, there is a disclaimer that all code is made by me by using this program. So he didn't use any other people's stuff, but he's giving credit for himself. Notice he's got development and design process. When he actually discusses this, he actually uses what the name of the function is so that he can explain what the process was, how he developed it, how it went in a cyclical type manner of completing it. And then at the bottom he's got decision 1 problem, so that was a difficulty. Decision 2, another problem, that was a difficulty. He's going through and explaining what the function was that he was updating and how he did that. And then down here he made a little more comments on that. Please understand that when you have certain keywords in your descriptions, it makes it so much easier for your readers to grade it. And this could be also placed as comments in your code so that you can remember it when it comes time to write up your report at the end. Alright, so these are all kinds of keywords that will help in your explanation. Alright, so that comes to the end of my video 3, and stand by for more.